Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review video, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on the new concealer from Colourpop. This one is part of their Pretty Fresh line. It has hyaluronic acid in it. It's supposed to be really good for your under eyes. I'm going to be sharing with you guys the entire range of concealers. It has 30 shades, so I'll be swatching all 30 of the shades, talking a little bit about the formula, and also showing you guys an application of it. So if that sounds good, why don't we go ahead and jump into the review. Alright, so getting started with the review, Colourpop did send over this concealer collection to me, so I have all 30 shades, which I'm going to be swatching for you guys. So all 30 shades of the concealer, and I'm also going to be talking a bit about the formula, and I'll show you guys comparison size-wise to some of the other concealers. They're also launching a sponge with this collection as well. This one here is the Pretty Fresh sponge. Mine has already been used, so you can see it. But it's small, a small little precision sponge. So getting into a little bit about the concealer, it's going to be $9. I am going to read to you guys the little card that they did send over with me just so I can read you some of the claims on it. So it says it's full coverage, creamy cushion concealer, instantly brightens skin for a fresh, natural finish that lasts all day, infused with hyaluronic acid, coconut water, which is going to hydrate. It's available in 30 different shades. It is dermatologically tested, gluten-free, oil-free, and paraben-free. It says it's ideal for all skin types. So if you have not tried out anything from their Pretty Fresh line, this is a new line to Colourpop. They have a hyaluronic acid primer. They also have the tinted moisturizer, and then they also have a setting spray. So now they're adding the concealers in as well. Again, there are 30 different shades, and they come in 3 different undertones. We have a neutral, a warm, and then also a cool, which I think is great that they have the different undertones into them. It is the concealer I have on my under eyes right now, and I have to say so far I'm pretty impressed with it. It's going to retail for $9 and will be available on November 5th. So I'm going to actually show you guys swatches of the entire concealer range because I did get this sent over to me. That way, if you are wanting to know which shade you should be, I can go ahead and show you guys the swatches of them. So first I want to show you the component. So here is what the component of it looks like. It just says the Pretty Fresh right there. This is a lot smaller and a little bit more wider than their other concealer that they have. So they have the no filter. So kind of to compare the two, you can tell the packaging is a lot different on this. It also has quite a bit less product in this new concealer than the previous one. So I know this one retailed, I think it was about $6, and this one is going to be $9, but it does have less product in here. But I think you're getting more ingredients, I would say, in this one with the hyaluronic acid. Is supposed to be a little bit better for your under eyes. The thing that I did notice with the no filter is I haven't used this all up, but I feel like it really doesn't last that long. So I'm hoping this new formula will last a little bit better. I'm okay with there being a little bit less product if I feel like it's not going to kind of disintegrate like this one did. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the applicator on it. The applicator is the same like doe foot applicator. It has a little bit of a bend in it when you do apply it. I'll kind of show you guys. So when you kind of bend it, it has a little bit of weight to it. This is a little bit of a thicker formula than what I was expecting for a hydrating like hyaluronic acid. I always think hydrating for a concealer. It does apply pretty thick. You guys will see that when I show you it. But I feel like it is definitely a concealer that you're going to want to blend out quickly. So this isn't one that you're going to want to put on, wait a while, and then blend it out. You're definitely going to want to dot this on, blend, dot it on, blend, because I do feel like it's a little bit hard to move once it's been sitting there a second. But the coverage on it is really nice. Again, you guys will see the application. This shade here is the first one in it. This one is 05 Warm. So that is the first one to the shade range. But so far from what I've tried, I feel like it looks really pretty on the under eyes. Again, I have it on right now. I feel like it did do a nice brightening effect, and I'm pretty impressed with it so far. This is only a first impression, so I don't have like a full set review on this, so I will continue to try it out. I also mentioned after I applied it that I'm going to do a pinned comment down below, let you guys know how it wears throughout the day. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the swatches so you guys can see all of the swatches of the 30 shades, and then we'll get into the application of the concealer. So the way that these concealers are mapped out is we have warm, cool, and neutral, and they don't really go in particular order when I'm showing you guys in the shade range here. So it's going to be Fair 05 Warm, Fair 07 Cool, Fair 10 Neutral, Fair 15 Warm, Fair 20 neutral, and then we go into the light shades. So we have light 33 cool, light 40 neutral, light 45 warm, light 50 warm, light 60 neutral. Then we move into the medium shades. So we have medium 83 cool, medium 85 neutral, medium 90 warm, medium 100 warm, then medium 105 neutral. Moving on to the last 15 shades, up first we have medium dark 113 cool, medium dark 115 warm, medium dark 120 warm, medium dark 125 neutral, medium dark 145 warm. Then we go into the dark shades, so we have dark 153 cool, dark 158 warm, dark 170 neutral, dark 175 neutral, dark 180 neutral, deep dark 190 warm, deep dark 200 neutral, deep dark 205 neutral, deep dark 210 neutral, and then the last one in the collection is deep dark 220 cool. All right, so now that you guys have seen all of the swatches of the concealers, like I said, I'm going to get into the application portion. So I'm going to be going in with the shade Fair 20 Neutral. I think that this is the shade that's going to match best for me. And I'm going to go ahead and use this with the sponge that both came with the collection and then also just a Real Technique sponge that I do really like. So I'm going to be just applying both of those. This is supposed to be full coverage, so we will see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the normal amount that I would. And with the applicator, we're going to go ahead and swipe it up. It does seem like a thicker consistency than I'm necessarily used to, and also the shade seems very light. So I'm going to actually start with the Colourpop sponge, and we're going to blend that out first. So we'll see how good this blends out with it being so thick. So I'm definitely having to work to blend this in a little bit more than I would with some of my other concealers, but it's not like staying too much to where I couldn't do both eyes, but I would probably recommend doing one eye because of how much I am having to blend this out. Definitely think this shade is like maybe a little too light. It could be like a little bit darker, so I might try one of the other shades. So here's the concealer blended out on this side. You can tell that it still almost looks like it needs to be blended more, but I've been blending here for a second. So I just feel like it's definitely one of those ones you're going to have to work very quickly with. Maybe don't apply so much of it. So I'm going to go ahead and try it on the other side. I am going to apply a little bit less and see if that helps. And then I'll just use the Real Techniques for this side and go a little bit faster here and see if it's just one of those products that you have to work super quick with. I already feel like that's blending out faster. So if you are going to buy this concealer, I definitely recommend doing one eye at a time and work as soon as you put it on, because I had it sitting there a second, I feel like it was harder to blend, but this side already feels like it's blending out better. I also feel like it has better coverage because we used a little bit less. So I think less is going to be more with this product, even knowing you think more product would be more coverage. I like the finish of this side better than the finish of this side. I feel like you do have like quite a bit more coverage in this area, and that's probably just because I was able to blend it out faster. So I'm going to add a little bit more over here just to see kind of how that works. I'm going to use the sponge here that I was using from Real Techniques and kind of see how it layers, and we'll see if that coverage is a little bit better. So yeah, now I feel like that's a little bit more comparable. So you can definitely layer it. It doesn't feel heavy or anything on the skin. So I do feel like it actually gave pretty decent coverage. It does look pretty hydrating. I feel like it doesn't look drying or anything like that. I don't see it caking up quite yet. So this is definitely one, if you're someone who likes not setting your concealers, I definitely think you could get away with probably not setting this one. It feels pretty dry, like it doesn't feel too tacky. So I am personally myself going to set this because I always set my concealer. So I'm just going to be using this one from Urban Decay. This is the brush off powder. And I'm just going to use the wet sponge and really just set this because I always set my concealer. But again, I don't feel like if you're someone who doesn't like setting it, I don't think you would necessarily really need to. The sponge is a little bit smaller than I prefer, but I kind of like it for the under eye area. It feels soft. It feels very comparable to the softness of the Real Technique sponge. So now that we've got our powder on, I don't feel like it looks cakey at all. Sometimes it automatically will cake up after I put on the powder. I don't notice that. It didn't like emphasize my pores too much because I did bring it down. I feel like it looks pretty good for the most part. I actually really like the coverage of it. I think it covered those dark circles pretty good. It's a little bit brighter, so what I'm going to do is just add a little bit to a couple other areas on my face just to kind of highlight here because I do feel like it's a little bit bright. So once I kind of put this on the other areas, I think it'll kind of balance itself out. There we go. So now we've got the brightness kind of everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then we're gonna get into my final thoughts. Okay, so we are back after applying the rest of my face, and I have to say I really do like the finish of this on my under eyes. I've looked at them up close. It took me a while to do this makeup. I've also done a few things in between, and I feel like I don't have any more creasing than I do with my normal concealers. I do have a little bit of creasing because I just have creases under my eyes, but nothing more intense. It doesn't feel heavy. It dried down nicely with the powder. I feel like it gave me a nice brightness under my eyes. I will say that I do like it a little bit better, obviously, if you use less of the product, as I mentioned earlier, so I would recommend that if you're planning to purchase it. But all in all, I'm pretty impressed with the concealer. Since this is a first impression, because I want to get it up for you guys, I am going to put a pinned comment down below. I'll wear this makeup throughout the day, and I'll let you guys know if it does break up at all or if my opinion changes. But so far, I'd say it's pretty dang good for a $9 concealer. Go ahead and leave me your thoughts down below. If you are excited about this one, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.